Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joe and Black Ministries. I'm Father Joe Krupp, and you are not. And today, 18th year of our Lord, 2026. And we begin with a howdy hi to all my thugs and to Vermont Mike, my favorite agnostic. And reminder, if you're market for their new or used car, you simply can't do better than Al Sarah. There's Al Sarah Chevrolet in Grand Blanc, where you get to visit Kyle, who's the man, the legend, the piece of Swiss cheese. Or you can head on over to Sarah Ford in the city whose name I'll never remember. Rochester. Oh, right, because Rochester versus Rochester. And don't forget, if you're buying religious articles, and in anything really, you should support your local economy. For us here at St. Mark and at Holy Family, we support and love Michigan Church Supply, Mont Morris, Michigan, and Celtic Cove Catholic Bookstore in Oxford, which is right near Rochester. I have to tell you guys something important. I just came from a very sad funeral, right? I mean, deeply sad. And so my brain wasn't totally checked in, and I'm walking down the steps, and this process begins, right, to get to the studio. And I realize I left, my keys and everything upstairs, but I was wearing shoes. So here's the thing. I take off my shoes when I do this show. Right now, I am shoeless, but my shoes are here.
And you have socks on.
I got my socks on. We're not barbarians. But what's going to happen is this, and I knew it, but I didn't want to go back upstairs. I had already committed to the stairway down, right? And so here's what I knew. I knew I'm going to take them off. We're going to do the thing, and then I'm going to, oh no, this time I can do it because I'm going right from here to another funeral thing. Yes. So I'll have to have my shoes. But most of the time I leave here and then spend days looking for my shoes until the next podcast. This is a fact. In fact, do you want to hear the grossest shoe off story?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm on a flight from I don't know where to I don't know where. Everything about it I have blocked off. My therapist says someday. And the dude who's sitting next to me looks like a normal guy, but takes his right leg and slaps it over his left knee. So now his foot is right next to me, which, okay, just don't touch me with that thing. Right? He then takes his shoes off. I'm like, that's not polite. Then he takes his socks off. It gets better.
This is awesome.
He takes his hand, the one that's attached to the rest of his body, and begins he put every finger between a toe. Because we got to get all the goo. Otherwise, it's where it belongs, not in my face. And he begins working that thing like the world is ending. And he did this, I think, for 83 minutes. That's what it felt like. And then, I'm dead serious, he did this. And then he puts his right leg back down on the floor, where it belongs, but usually with socks and shoes on. Wash, rinse, repeat with the left leg. He did the same gross, disgusting. And then the stewardess, or whatever you're supposed to call him now, comes by, dead serious. He goes, yeah, I'll have a sandwich and a I think he wanted a scotch. And I'm like, can you get him a hand washing thing? I asked, can you get him a hand washing thing? True story. That happened. And every once in a while I think of me and I think you're not well. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that alone in my room. I don't want anyone touching my feet. That's disgusting. I think gas is hilarious. Let's just put that out there. Not the gas, but the fact that I think it's hilarious. But touching feet? I had a buddy who was married. And I went over to his house one time. And his wife, he plopped on the couch, she plopped on the couch and put her feet on his legs. And he proceeded to rub her feet, with his hands. I'm like, I have to go. And you should get a divorce. And she was like, oh, I love it when he rubs his feet. Oh, I bet you do. I don't want to see it. Ugh. I don't think I'd love anyone that much. Does your beloved ever... Oh, you're giving me a look. Does your beloved rub your feet? Is that a private question? Oh, no. Wait.
It's not private, but
All right, I'm going to ask a dude, because dudes don't care. Chuck.
There's clearly no right answer to this at this point.
Well, is that normal married people behavior?
Yes.
No, get the hay out of here.
Yes. That's a yes.
Would you rub your beloved's feet?
No, God, no.
Okay, thank you. Because, all right, Uncle Chuck, do you feel free to participate in this discussion?
Yeah, feet are disgusting.
Thank you.
You walk on them all day.
Yeah, I know where that thing's been.
I'll hold your hand.
Oh, yeah, as long as it hasn't touched
Women
feet.
spend a lot of money on manicures to get them rubbed.
Which one's manicures?
I'm sorry, I'm pedicures. Pedicures.
Yeah, mani, hand
Yes.
in Latin.
Yep.
Or Greek. No, maniple. I don't know. Wait a minute.
Oh my gosh, somebody's asking if you happen to know of any good places for a fish fry in Davison.
I have waited my whole life for this moment. So somebody's asking if I know a good fish fry in Davison.
Yes.
You're not making this up?
Not. Somebody on YouTube.
Okay, I have two words for you.
to no
White tees. Right? Whitey's. We going to Whitey's. In
We'll
fact,
leave it at that.
here's the thing. This has been a very full morning.
Yes.
Right? But in between something and the funeral, Carrie and I are sitting there, okay, we got to remember this for the funeral, that for the funeral. And then we planned Whitey's.
We
literally planned Friday's Whitey's trip.
Yes.
Here's what I recommend at Whitey's.
Everybody else wait until 6 o'clock to go.
Yes. First of all, remember, it does not open till 5.
Right.
Please don't look that up. Trust me. Here's what you should order. Okay, they have fish, they have shrimp, they have chowder. I recommend all of them.
Right.
Like, I've ordered food and then asked them, can you give me pictures of this food as well? Because the food will go away. But the pictures, oh my gosh. If you're serious that someone asked this question, I award that person 4 Jesus points.
There you go.
Right now. Just for allowing me to dream the Whitey's dream. To something.
Okay, Jerry Lewis.
The impossible fish. La, 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 la. We played this in band. I don't know the words, but I know the music. Right? The Impossible Dream, Don Quixote. What was the name of that? The Man de la Mancha.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What was that one? Dulcinea. Remember that? I loved her. Okay, what are we doing today? Do you remember? Something with Jesus and God.
Giving.
Giving to the poor.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're talking about is almsgiving. And I know we just talked about it 3 weeks ago, but I don't care. We got more to do. John generously got me a Smoothie King.
It's a smoothie kind of day. You've got a big full day today.
We sure do. Oh my gosh, the whole world is dying, and it's just rude.
Yes.
Like the last 4 last rites I did, the last thing those people heard on earth after last rites was, yeah, let's just make it all about you. You know, I let them know. Do you know one of the families we did last rites for? Oh, and you said, hey, I wonder why they haven't called.
They're doing the
They're
funeral.
going somewhere else.
Yes.
They were like, we want a real priest. And no, it was just they saw our schedule. We have no funeral times left. So if you die, we got a freezer. So today we're talking about almsgiving, generosity, all of those things. And what I want us to do first is to recognize this is a duty of the Christian to be duty to be generous. You guys.
Brings
I'm all jacked up on protein and Mountain Dew. No, not Mountain Dew. I'm making cherry Pepsi Zero. Made.
Still? Okay.
Oh. every day. I drink, so I first thing in the morning, I drink a coffee with a shot of espresso in. Then I drink a coffee with a shot of espresso. Then I drink a coffee with a shot of espresso.
Really? You're a 3-cup guy.
Oh, yeah. That's technically 6,
Oh.
caffeine-wise.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And then we shift to the Cherry Pepsi Zero. I think I figured out it's Cherry Pepsi Zero, and here's why. I literally was supposed to be praying yesterday, and I started thinking, you got to figure out the order. So while I'm sitting there in front of the Blessed Sacrament, here's what I figured out. Zero has to be last, because otherwise it's Zero Pepsi or Zero Cherry. Okay, so now we've established this.
Very
Zero
logical.
is the last word. Pepsi Cherry Zero then gets us back to no cherries. So the only way it makes sense is Pepsi Cherry Zero. You don't care. I have
Oh, I'm
parsed
sorry.
the mysteries of the universe.
no, I think that's fascinating that you were on it like that. We're having trouble.
We're having
And I
trouble.
hate to even say this because we're obviously can't talk to the people who are having trouble. Facebook is having trouble.
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to try to turn you guys off and back on again and see if it works.
I just looked to see if I hit the cough button
No,
again.
no, it's everything else is fine.
Okay.
So a lot of people are on YouTube, which is good.
Yeah, YouTube's better anyway, because Facebook is run by fascists. Was that out loud? So let's talk about you guys. It's going to be bad today. Did you hear the siren? That's
do.
Chuck's ride.
That's already coming.
Yep, the cops are coming. Okay, so let's take a look at this idea of almsgiving. First of all, what we need to... We are the Hot Mess Express, more than usual. You see well today. But let's see. Yep, someone... In fact, one of my buddies just texted that to me. Joseph, you are the Hot Mess Express. Joseph primarily was reserved for when my mother was putting a round in the chamber. So we're going to talk about almsgiving today, and it's this idea that you and I are to be generous. Now, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but we're going to obviously go a little deeper into it, and if you have any questions, let me know, because my outline for this isn't very long,
Okay.
frankly.
Yep.
Right? So when we talk about generosity, I would love, let me find it. What's really interesting, you guys, is the root of the word generosity is, of course, Latin, right? And in Latin, it refers to a few things. Primarily, if you can believe it, it means this person is of noble birth. Right? So when the Romans would say that someone was generous, they were referring to the fact that they were of noble birth. Over time, by the time you get to the 17th century, it really was nobility of spirit, nobility of mind. And it was only in the 19th century where the word generosity began to refer to being a person who helps others without expecting anything in return. It's really fascinating. But you can see where that evolution came from, that this idea of a generous person, they just assumed your mom and dad raised you right. Noble birth, right? And then it kind of found its way back over time to that idea that noble birth, you were raised right. Might be a way we would say it now. This is just so tasty. We should have more Lents. For us, generosity is not an option. What is optional is what we're generous in, right? Namely, some of us can be generous with our money. Some of us can be generous with our time. Some of us can be generous with our gifts and our talents. What makes something generous is not the volume you give, I think, but the volume you keep. You get me? If I'm a millionaire and I give you $5, I am not generous, even if that $5 changes your life. If I have $5 and I give you $2, and it barely helps you at all, I'm being generous. How we doing? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. So the generosity is not the amount I give. It's the amount I kept is what makes you generous or not. Now, this doesn't mean wasteful, right? What's wasteful? Wasteful would be giving more than you should responsibly give. Wasteful would be just handing some rando stranger on the street cash. That's wasteful. To be generous means we appropriately sacrifice and expect nothing in return. I think I told you this when I was at a parish where they were merging two parishes together that did not like each other. And I wasn't the pastor, but the pastor was an absentee landlord. Like when it came to difficult things, I was the pastor. When it came to like yummy good things, he was the pastor. And so I had to be in charge of this meeting where the two parishes were yelling at each other for Jesus. In the end, I'm doing this whole presentation. Okay, we've got 10 people from Parish A, 10 from Parish B. We're doing this, and this is how we're working out this merger, and blah, blah, blah. And a man stood up and said, I give, I'm making this number up, $20,000 a year to the parish, and you're not getting a damn penny of it. Now, because he was mad, it didn't go the way he wanted it to. And I said publicly, then I would suggest you weren't giving anything. You were buying something. And you just found out it's not for sale. Right? There are people who generously give amount, but they're not giving it without expecting something in return. I am buying influence. One of the hardest things I did was a conversation I had with a parishioner, and I was in a parish that was very much struggling financially. I was set there to fix it. And a man came in who said, I want to give the church, non-Catholic, I'm giving the church $20,000. Now, that parish, that literally changed our future, right? But then as he talked, and I'm dead serious, he was very clear that he hopes the Lord remembers this at judgment so that he can get in. And so I said to him, respectfully, of course, 'cause he's clearly a sweet dude. I said, hold on, bro. Why are you giving me this money? And he said, well, I hope God remembers it at judgment. And I said, I get you, brother. He will. But what do you think that means? Because it genuinely scared me. In the end, he felt pretty sure if I give this money to the church, I got an in. Do you pray? Are you a part of a faith community? No. I didn't take the money. I couldn't do it. Right? And that was hard. I'm embarrassed at how hard it was. But I didn't want him to have the illusion he could buy his way in. And so he flat out told me, I'll find a church that'll take it. I'm like, oh, you'll find one. I can guarantee it. I want to take it. But it's not generosity if you expect something in return. It's not generosity if it's a very little amount to you. It may be like if you're a millionaire and you give 20 grand and you say, well, that's not much. Well, A, it's a lot. But B, is that what you could give? I mean, people live on budgets. Right? People have many responsibilities. So I don't want it to come off wrong. It's generous anytime you give money in the common parlance. But in terms of what we're talking about today, we're looking at generosity as an idea of I'm sacrificing to help, and I expect nothing in return. One interesting thing I'm going to say is every parish, every assignment I've had has their own personality. When I was at Lansing Catholic, for example, one of the most common complaints was from parents, usually for women's sports, was this gal is starting at shortstop because her dad is rich, right? And that was a problem. It was a real problem. People actually believed that we started kids in sports, except theirs, of course, not by their skill level, but buy their dad's checkbook. And one of the common mistakes that they made at that school was believing rich people were somehow giving money. They weren't. They either paid tuition or didn't pay tuition. But the school didn't have a means for people to just give it money. Some people did, but usually not folks who had kids there. It was folks who used to have kids there. And again, and I know I say this a lot, but it's true, the middle class tends to carry a parish, not the uber wealthy. Why? You can't budget the uber wealthy. A super wealthy person might come in and drop a huge check on us, and then we never see him again. Right? That happens, right? Meanwhile, you've got the middle class dude or dudette who just every week is like, here's what I got. When people ask, what should I give at church? Very simple. What's this worth to you? Right? What is the value of the service the church is offering? That's what you want to give. Whether it's I can give $1 or I can give a lot. Is it a sacrifice? Do you expect something in return? There you go. How we doing?
Good.
Okay. So these are important things for us to look at. Giving a beggar money is easy. Really, you reach in your pocket and you drop some cheese on them. One of the things we learn is that such a thing often helps feed something unhealthy. One of the big mistakes Americans, at least, I don't know about other countries, one of the things I often see, you can tell when someone's worked with the poor and when they haven't, right? Because people who haven't worked with the poor believe that poor people can get out of poverty if we change their circumstances. Some can, some can't. You might be surprised at the link between limited intelligence or emotional, psychological struggles and poverty. Right? It's quite possible some people are poor because that's what they got. And if you gave them $1 million, it'd be gone in a very short amount of time and they would be poor again. Some people, because of limited intellectual skills. For some people, it's some form of psychological or social or mental issues, and they'll always be poor. When we just give money randomly, we don't know what we're feeding. That's what's important. You might just be buying booze. You might just be buying drugs. You might be buying for them something they don't need at the cost of something they need, right? All poor people aren't poor because of, the economics. Does this make any sense?
Yes.
Okay. And that's really important. People who don't work with the poor just think, oh, we can do this and lift them out of poverty. This is why Jesus said the poor you'll always have with you. Not so we won't fight for the poor, but so that we won't pretend that all poverty is because of a lack of financial opportunity. No, some people just will never be able to not be poor. And God puts them there for us to practice the generosity he has. Right? Well, this is where we get into that discussion, right? And so then you take the other end of the discussion, which is poverty is not something for us to despise. Someone needing help should be a reminder to us of how much help we need spiritually. God has been stupid generous with us. I think of this all the time. I stand at graves, man. And there's really was nothing before Christianity where people stood at graves and had hope. It was, I'll never see this dude again. Right? Why? No, there's no heaven. Or if there is, we can't get there. It was Christianity that brought that gift to the world of hope. That you and I believe with all of our hearts, hopefully, that this wonderful gift of hope in the dark. And I cling to hope about a lot of different things in life. I'm sure you do too. Where you just look and say the circumstances are impossible, but I have hope. Why? I don't know. I just do. How we doing?
Yes.
The gift that Christianity offers the world is you and I recognizing we have hope for heaven and we don't deserve it. We didn't create it. There's nobody at judgment, not named Jesus, for whom God's going to say, you earned it, come on in. Anybody in heaven, it's a gift. Anytime you receive the Eucharist, it's a gift, freely given. Anytime you receive reconciliation with our Lord, it's a gift. And so since God is so generous with us, why wouldn't we be generous? Well, that person is blah, 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 blah. God didn't say that to you. Right? God didn't say it to you. So we don't say it about the people who need our help. We help them in whatever way we can. Yeah? Okay. This is part of the cancer of politics that's invaded our church. Namely, you have one extreme that says the government programs are caring for the poor, and that's what I fight for and think about. The other extreme is contempt for the poor, contempt for those seeking opportunity. Somewhere in between there is this thing called Catholicism, which says what? Yeah, part of the government's job is provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, right? That's in our Declaration of Independence. This idea that we try to help people, our government tries to help people, that's important. And we recognize that some people's poverty, and I don't know what percentage, but it's not a small percent. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's a lack of ability. And that we can fill that gap for them by providing. How are we doing?
Yes.
The key thing for us to remember is that this isn't optional. This isn't a side effect of Christianity. This is a big part of it. Our generosity can and should go beyond money. Well, first let's look at possessions. Let's talk about possessions. I think I told you guys this story that when, I forget which hurricane it was. Isn't that awful? Both Father Jeff Rose and I had a similar experience. His was much more defined. Mine was more subtle. So we'll look at his. But he was talking to a man who lost his house and everything in it. Just gone. Boom. And the dude was rich. Okay. And he sat with the guy, and the guy had his wife and squeakers, and they were all okay. And it had been like 3 days since he lost everything. And he expressed to Jeff the shock he had at how free he felt. I have a house full of stuff, and I never knew really what to do with it all. I don't have a house full of stuff. And the guy was wrestling, as Jeff explained it, with a kind of guilt about the happiness. Right? My family's fine. What matters to me is fine. The other stuff had become a chain that he forged, right? One link at a time. This is where generosity with things comes in. Namely, you have things you don't need. Other people might need them. Why not give them up? Right? Like we have a garage sale every year, and we count on it. It's a big deal for us. And I pitch it to people when I say, bring us your stuff. If you've got it in storage and you haven't used it for a year, bring it. Right? I mean, unless it's intentionally there for over a year, right? Like somebody needs that. And you can accomplish 3 goods, right? 1, you can free yourself of the chains of things owning you. Yeah? Number 2, you can help a parish by giving it to the parish and say, sell this and make some bank. And 3, you can help the person who buys it because they need that thing that you just bought for an hour and then you stored somewhere. We want to make sure everything that we own, that it doesn't own us. So I've shared this before, and again, I got this from Father Jeff, best friend ever, that he has a rule that I follow. And of course, everyone makes the obvious joke. But if I have something and you need it, and I don't, I'll give it to you. For me, it started with books. I was a little obsessive about owning books and having books and touching books. So books I read, I put on a shelf. And my first rule, Jeff gave this to me, back in, I think, 2009. He was like, you know, I know a good challenge. He said, if anybody comments on one of your books, you give them that book. And I did that until the books were basically gone. And the first year, it was really hard. And after that, it felt great. Next time I moved, it felt really great. There is an idea of our possessions and us being generous with them that can be liberating for us spiritually, but also mentally. I've got crap, right? What do I do with it? One of my buddies owned a storage facility. I had a long talk with him because he showed me some stuff, but basically said, quote, he told me something along these lines. You just wouldn't believe how many people give me money every month. And I put it in my storage units, and then they never, ever, ever come back. He said, and then at some point they change credit unions, they change banks, and the automatic withdrawal doesn't happen. And he says, and I start pounding at him. There's a whole process. Come get your crap, or keep paying me. He claimed about 70% of the people never came and got it. And like there was a law at what point he could jimmy it. And he did. And what did he do? Gave it to the parish. Sell this. Cool stuff, but crazy stuff. There's something in us that generosity can heal. It can heal us of the chains we forge by keeping things we know we'll never use. Keeping things that we know if we ever use them, it'll be the end of the world. Yeah. And in the meantime, we can do a couple of things. We can, if we need cash, we can sell it ourselves, right? Or we can be even more generous and give it to a charity that's going to sell it. Anyway, I think I'm beating that point to death. Or no, you're with me?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me, Goose.
I have a question.
Okay, I'm going to turn off my ringer. Yes.
So what about the responsibility of what we're donating to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important, isn't it? I think in this day and age, looking at charities that we give to is an important thing. It's why it's the same model I use for supporting local businesses. Support local charities. I'm a big believer in that because here's the thing. You can give to these mega charities that have people getting paid $1 million to be on their board. And it blows me away. I don't know what I don't know. I want to be super clear. But I was always amazed by how much money different churches I've worked for or Catholic organizations, how much money they pay somebody to raise money. It just, it really, and again, I don't know what I don't know. So don't take that as having any value at all. But what I do know is like Dad and I do this. We try to keep our charity local. And why? Because we know those charities. One of the things, and gosh, I'm going to get some people yelling at me. All of a sudden, Catholic charities became the bad guy. Do you remember this? It was about a year ago.
Yes.
Right? And why? Because their political masters told them that Catholic charities were facilitating human trafficking. Yeah, sure they were. Right? It's such a... We forget we are talking about the church, and we're talking about humans in the church. So it's their theory that the Catholic Church was taking, and I can catch you, billions of dollars, right? Billions of dollars from the government and facilitating human trafficking. And what did it come down to? It's very easy to research, truly, okay? Namely, it started with church militant writing this big story about how much money the Catholic Church was making off of illegal immigration. Right? Now, if you're not familiar, that's an institution that was shut down because its organization was corrupt. Okay? But all they had to do was throw that grenade, and the shrapnel hit everywhere. What does this mean? Catholic Charities in Flint, right down here. Okay? Catholic Charities in Flint. Flint would shut down without them. And I literally mean it. Flint would not have survived GM's fiscal brutality if it wasn't for the Catholic Church. And there isn't anyone who knows what they're talking about who will disagree with me. But because this story started, and what is it? I'll be honest. I don't love what our bishops did, but it's not all of a sudden the state gave the church $1 billion and we pocketed it. It was this. The state brought in refugees and then said to the church, will you help us settle them? Yes, here's cash to settle them. That's what it came down to. You can argue all day whether the church should have done that. Fine, I'll argue with you. I don't know if we should have. I really don't. And you can tell me some of that money went to dark places. I'd believe you. That's a very different thing than the story you were told. Right? The church, people who were already in, who needed to be settled. So I know a parish in Lansing who took in a family from Somalia into the rectory. The priest was like, we got an extra rectory, right? Yeah, put them here. And within a year, they became Catholic. That's amazing. But that didn't make the news stories. And I can give you a million of these type stories. And again, we can argue. That's fine. I don't know. I don't know if our bishop should have been doing it. I'll be honest. I have no idea. But it's a little different than what was being pitched to you. And here's the key. We need humans in our country. We need immigration. We don't need illegal immigration. Nobody needs illegal immigration. But we certainly need legal immigration. And when the government brings them in, that's called legal immigration.
Yes.
You got me? Generosity is what props up Catholic Charities. And some very wealthy news organizations and podcast providers went out of their way to make sure you were giving your money to them, not to Catholic Charities. And they pretended it was news. No, you've been used. You've been had. Dad and I give to Flint Catholic Charities. Why? They need help. You can go there and ask them. Go there and ask. Let me see your facilities. You won't see anybody living in luxury. Most of them don't even have an office. Every square foot is set aside to help the poor. What they do is unbelievable. And most of the people trying to get you to hate Catholic Charities, they live much better than anyone who works for Catholic Charities. I can guarantee you. They're getting big old checks for selling you their story. Sometimes the devil uses people to keep us from being generous because we don't mind hearing someone else is the problem. Thank God someone else is and not me this time. Yeah. Right? I mean, it's a very human thing, but it's a human thing we need to reject and speak against. And I'm just seeing more and more that social media is consumed by liars. Just liars. And they always find people with minimum reasoning skills who they can win over. For us, the call to be generous is not political. We make it political because we're broken. And we make it political because we like being in a tribe. We make it political because we love pretending a human can solve our problems. We love making it political because we believe the lie that this election is the most important one ever. Remember that? Every election. Don't get me started. So for us, we want to be generous with our things. We want to be generous with our money. Another thing we may want to consider is being generous with our time. I do a lot of funerals for older people. Well, they're not old anymore. They stopped aging. Whenever Dad always, remember that, Dad? People would say, how does it feel to be a year older? He always said, better than the alternative. I loved that. I love that, Pop. One of the things, and this is probably just the last 10 years where this started happening that I know of. When I meet with a family for a funeral of an old person and elderly, I'll ask them, hey, what did we love about Grandpa? What did we love about Grandma? Number one, always, they went to all my games. They went to all my events. And sometimes I struggle with that, just because that's a different world than I grew up in. We always joke, if you ask our parents what sports we played or what activities we did, they'd be like, I don't remember, right? It was just wasn't that important. But I get it. Things have changed and I need to adapt. But what those kids are expressing, I think, more than anything is, he gave me his time. She
Absolutely.
gave me her time.
Yes.
And tragically, our kids are aware of time now because we've scheduled the heck out of them.
Yeah.
And because we've scheduled the heck out of them, they tragically are busy. Kids should never be busy. I don't think. Two, they're aware of the sacrifice of time. So when they look and see Grandpa and Grandma being generous with their time, it moves them. It reminds them of something beautiful. Being generous with our time means we recognize there are things that are transitory and things that are eternal. And the transitory things are supposed to be joys that serve us, and the eternal things are joys that we serve. So that's a great thing to consider. One of the ways I think we could all be maybe more generous with our time is funerals. I thought of that today. I did. The young man we buried today, 26 years old, was a deeply beloved young man. A brand new dad. 3-month-old squeaker. Lovely wife. That chick's a rock star. Yeah. And he was just a dude who was beloved. It was so wonderful to read all these amazing things. And I saw a lot of young people in church today, and I was so touched. Because mostly I don't see them at funerals. They don't come to funerals unless it's direct relation. But what a cool thing that, 200-300 young people missed work today, took the financial hit to be generous with their time and to say to his beloved and to the deceased man's beloved, to the deceased man's family, you're worth this, right? You're worth this. That's very cool. So we can be generous with our money, with our stuff, with our time. I think one of the things that challenges us, that makes generosity difficult, can be we get conditioned by the physical world, right? We are body and soul. We are visible and we are invisible. Yeah. So you can see my magnificent body, my long flowing hair, and my ridiculous good looks. That's the physical, visible part of me. But which makes me me is invisible to you. You cannot see my soul. I can see yours, but that's because I'm very reverent. And the thing about physical world is when I give it away, I have less. So if I have $10 and I give you $5, I don't have 10 anymore. I have less than 10. Ask me how much. No idea. But I know it ain't 10. When it comes to invisible things, when we give them away, they grow. I don't know why. I just know that's how it works. If I give you love, I become more loving. If I give you peace, I become more piecing. That was funny.
It was.
But it also works the other way. If I give you anger, I become more angry. If I give away fear, I become more fearful. We need to be generous with the invisible things that are good. The simplest thing, like being conscious of the dignity and wonder of the person taking your order can change their day. You're giving away something invisible. Being a jerk, being demanding, requiring perfection, those are all things. You're giving something away. You're being generous with something invisible, and it's growing in you, and it grows in the person you gave it to. So the next thing I would invite us to be generous with is the fruits of the Spirit: faith, joy, hope, love, kindness, agreeableness. I love that word. That you and I can decide, I'm going to be stupid generous with my joy. Not my happiness, because that comes and goes, but joy, this acknowledgement that no matter how bad it gets, Jesus is still Lord. He has won. He is winning. He will win. Yeah, I need caffeine. That's really important. What we tend to be generous with, what it's easy to be generous with, is anger and fear. And that's how social media works.
Yes.
Right? Nobody on there seems happy. I'm trying. I'm fighting. But in fact, here's a funny one. This morning, a person who isn't Catholic and is Christian-ish put up one of those stupid, everything I learned about Catholicism, I learned from my Protestant pastor posts. And it was just so objectively dumb. I mean, objectively dumb. And it popped up twice in my feed. And the first time I wrote a sarcastic and hilarious smackdown. And I didn't, publish it. The second time I was like, okay, I'm just putting it up. I'm going to smack them hard.
You had the angel in white over on his
yeah,
shoulder,
but my angel was having a smoke break, right? So it was just the demon going, do it! And in the end, I blocked the person.
Okay.
And it just is so stupid. It's such a small thing, but it was a big victory for me. It was objectively a small thing. Stupid person said stupid thing about something I love. Right? Block them. Why? Because all I'm doing is spreading their stupid. Right? And what do you do?
Yes.
What do you do? The harder thing was to block them. The harder thing was to not respond. But it worked. And I felt that little mini liberation. Yeah? Does that make sense?
It does. It's not as satisfying.
And it's as satisfying. Afterward, it's more satisfying. Like, I didn't give in.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. Do you have any questions or comments? How we doing?
Do you ever challenge? Let's say you have, a really wealthy friend.
Let's say I got what?
A really wealthy friend.
Yeah.
And they give a lot of money to, let's say, a university.
Yeah.
Do you challenge that?
I have twice. Right?
Not that they can't give to the university, but are they also giving to the poor?
Right. Like, to me, this is the one. Okay, now we're going to talk turkey.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say some things that I think I'm right. I think if you give $1 million to a university and you've given some to your church or the poor, I think you got problems. I think that's a real problem. Universities don't need more money, right? Well, if we want to win, yeah, I would like to win at heaven. And God doesn't say crap in the Bible about how important it is to make sure your college's team gets more cash to buy more players. See, and this is where I get worried about how I come across. So I'm going to look at you, I'm saying it, in case you got to be like, Joe, let's stop. The Diocese of Lansing pitched a campaign, and the campaign was fairly partly cloudy simple. Focus. Basically, we need to figure out how to make Catholic school affordable. And the biggest problem is always going to be insurance. Catholic school when my dad was a kid was affordable because you had nuns and priests teaching. There were a crap load of both. And you pay them $1 a year, literally. And there you go. And not only that, but insurance was a reasonable thing back then. I signed our insurance check today for the month. And our insurance check for the month is worth more than we pay most employees in a year. Would you say that's accurate, Uncle Chuck? Okay. It's painful. It's hard. We have zero control over it. So what ends up happening? Well, the church can go bankrupt keeping the school open, or we can jack up tuition. And every time we jack it up, it's like a bullet to our own head. We lose people, right? Which makes tuition go up, right? You get into this vicious cycle as a Catholic school. So what do? Our bishop decides, and I think he's right, we need to build an endowment. Is that the right word, Uncle Chuck?
Yeah.
And from that endowment, we're going to draw 4 goods. We'll talk about the 2 primary goods of this campaign, okay? Namely, we will have an endowment to give bonuses to our Catholic school teachers, okay? Why bonuses and not increase their salary? Lots of reasons, right? But here's the thing. So Catholic school teachers here make about half of what the publics do once you get past a certain point. They start the same. Do you remember that, Chuck, when we found out we start the same at Holy Family as they do at the publics? Yeah, I mean little, but it's very close. But then you get to like year 5, Uncle Chuck, or 10? I don't know. And then it's like, oh, no. Right? Oh, no. We can't just raise taxes and get more money. I've tried. So what did Uncle Earl do? He said, let's raise a poop load of money. And we'll create a couple pools from which we'll be able to give teachers, Catholic school teachers, bonuses every year. Right? And the second pool will help us, will generate funds to reduce tuition. There we go. To hand out more aid. That was a great thing. And the goal was, I believe, 77 million.
70 million.
70 million. Thank you, Uncle Chuck. And I don't think we hit it.
We're at 63. It's still going.
Okay. We're at 63 million a year and almost a half later. And it's been some teeth pulling. And I've been at meetings where people yell at their pastor, where that not here, praise God. It's the classic Catholic giving thing. 4% of people are providing most of that 70 million. 80% of people are providing all the complaining about it. At the same time, MSU, my beloved school, raised almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
Seriously, almost $1 billion for football, baseball, which again, I adore those things. And I don't know what to do with that information, but get sad. What have we done that the system is that broken? We want to win some football games. Oh, great. Here's a checkbook.
Yeah.
You know, we'd like to help inner city kids get a decent, safe place to educate. Here's $1. And I'm going to complain the whole time. I'm not giving money to the diocese. It isn't the diocese. It's the schools.
Yeah.
Teachers complained. So, you know, when you bring that up, like, I don't know. I know how I feel. And I feel awful about it. And of course, people say, oh, the church and the scandals and the blah. Have you been to universities? They could teach courses on scandals. They just call it normal. Right? I mean, wow. For those of you not from America, basically, the way it's always been is this. Your university has, American football is the biggest thing, right? So if you look at almost any university, major one, the money they make from football, even if their program sucks, makes more money than all the other sports combined. And it's not even close. Like, so if you take even that MSU basketball, which is our basketball, baseball, hockey, all the women's sports, men, put them all together, they don't bring as much money in as football. Okay, so how does it work? How did it work? Basically this, you are an extraordinary football player. We want you to come here and play football for us, so we will pay for your degree, right? You can get your degree here for free, but you have to play ball for us. And from that came this thing called, for those who aren't American, the NCAA, National Collegiate Athletic Association, which was making billions of dollars off these kids. In the meantime, the rules were such that you couldn't give a student athlete literally a sandwich, literally a pop. You could not give them anything because that would be buying the student. So that was our reality forever. 2-3 years ago, we said, that's not a good system. Let's do the complete opposite. Because this is America. We don't know how to be reasonable. We can do constipation. We can do diarrhea. We can't do a healthy BM on anything. This is America. We either open our borders or we send guys in black masks to arrest, illegal immigrants. We don't know how to do anything in a healthy, normal way. So what do we do? Yeah, pay your kids. We'll call it name, image, likeness, blah, blah, blah. So now universities are scrambling to raise a ton of money so that they can buy players. And it's just insane. So you get universities literally raising $1 billion for sports while their church is going, we could really use a roof. While you've got kids dying of hunger, malnutrition, suffering from malnutrition. Right? Flint, Genesee County, where Flint is, has more humans malnourished than any county in the U.S., and 80% of those malnourished people are under 17 years of age. In a university right nearby, well, 3 of them. That's $1 billion endowment just sitting there rolling over cheese to pay kids to play ball.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Right.
Crazy. Oh, I didn't say hi to our foreign correspondent.
You didn't.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry. Okay. So, for our foreign correspondents, Patricia and Veronica in Scotland. Remban in Canada. A. Sabine in Germany. Richard in England. Margaret and Anne in New Zealand. Chris in the Philippines. Finula and Kaylin in Ireland. John in Spain. Jose in Mexico. Karen in Singapore. Eileen in Australia. Ben in India. Bella in South Africa. I love her name. Francisco in Argentina. Wait, who won last night? No, Venezuela. Sarah in Lithuania, Andrew in Bahrain, and Kevin in Wisconsin. We have to wrap up because I have another funeral thing. And I did not see the time. I'm so sorry. Yep, I hope today was helpful.
It was.
I'm very tired. Well, so I don't know how helpful it was.
Thoughtful. Absolutely.
It was thoughtful.
I think it's something we all need to ponder.
We do. Don't get into that because we got to go. So we'll wrap this puppy up. On Friday, we've got lots of good questions still, don't we?
Yes, we do.
But don't let that stop you.
No,
oh, my gosh.
Keep sending them in.
Yeah. Oh, and remind me to tell you, someone sent me an email, come Holy Spirit, saying Veronica did not exist. They were 12 Veronica who wiped the face of Jesus did not exist. I want to make sure and get that on the show.
Yeah, you'll have to just email us.
It's people with... Okay, so Focus Daniel-san, if you would pray for a couple things. Pray for protection of Catholic churches. Just heard a story this week. It was like, pray for all those who mourn. One of the things we're great at is for the first 3 days after the funeral. We really got to be better as God's people at checking on those who've lost a loved one in the last year. And in fact, how about this? I'm asking everyone. If you know someone who's lost a loved one, like a spouse or a mom or a dad or a sister or brother in the last year, why don't you give them a text or a call today? Hey, thinking about you, praying for you, love you. Don't forget the $5 you owe me. It's a good way to get that money back. Right?
Send $5 to Father Joe.
Send that $5 to Father Joe so I can send it to MSU.
Actually, funny.
Wouldn't that be funny? Seriously, if there was this thing, it turns out Father Joe was sending all the money from the parish to MSU.
To support NIL.
Yeah. Name, image, likeness. All right, so let's wrap this puppy up with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, it is a season here at Holy Family where we have a lot of death. And what we ask right now is that you send your Holy Spirit. Comfort those who mourn, Lord. And use us in any way you see fit to help. We give you permission. We ask for you to do this. Lord, bring someone's name to our heart who needs love right now, and then help us to follow through, text them, call them, something. Lord, generosity can be a challenging thing, but it's not an option for us, so we're all in. Help us to appropriately sacrifice where you call us to sacrifice, in the way you call us to. And help us be prudent in our giving. Lord, you know the people we love and worry about. And you know all the circumstances in our lives that cause us to fret. We give all of it to you, Lord, because we love you and we trust you. And may Almighty God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. My Kung Fu is strong. And the tornado siren's going off, so we may all be dead in an hour. Thanks for tuning in. And something, frozen peas are my gift to you, Birdseye. Coach, is it over?
No, it's never over. It'll never be over. It's just starting.